So 10 years after King George II's coronation, you would think that Handel by now is pretty established, having composed music for the first King George when he's going down the River Thames, for the second King George as he's being made king and the piece is used for 275 years later. You would think that he's pretty established. But unfortunately, life doesn't necessarily work like that, especially when you're an artist. There comes a point where there will be a bit of a struggle, and it's about you persevering through to see whether you really truly believe in the legitimacy of your art. So Handel at this point in time ended up going bankrupt. He was in debt, and worst of all, adding a punch while you're down, adding a kick while you're already down. No one wanted to listen to his music anymore because tastes were changing. People's tastes evolve. Whatever was played in the year 2000, some people would still like it to this day, but other people, maybe younger people, would be like, I'm not too much of a fan. So it didn't necessarily help him that people didn't want to listen to his music anymore, and the fact that he was in debt. It seemed like everything was working against Handel at this point in time. But step in a very interesting character, Charles Jennens, who formed a friendship with Handel, and what a serendipitous friendship it would be. Charles Jennens composed our libretto, which is just Italian for lyrics, for a new piece, a new project he was working on called Messiah. He passed it on to Handel, hoping for some divine inspiration that could support the lyrics that he wrote, some good music. And somewhat divine it was. In 24 days, Handel ended up writing the entire music for this project, Messiah. Here's a little bit of perspective for the modern day. Messiah is 53 unique pieces, and he wrote it in 24 days. Imagine your favorite band writing more than 5 albums. Albums usually have about 15 to 20 songs within an album. Imagine your favorite band writing 5 albums worth of music in 3.5 weeks. And those 5 albums remain popular in the year 2290 because his music has lasted 275 years. That's what he did in 24 days, and it's lasted a lifetime, more than one lifetime. That's about 3 different lifetimes. It's pretty incredible if you think about it. And that's how famous Handel's Messiah was. Now, the part that was the most well-known, and that is the most well-known right now, was the Hallelujah chorus. And Handel is quoted as saying, I did see all of heaven before me and the great God himself. And that's what he said when he completed the piece. Messiah was then performed before the King of England 1 year later. And it was said that the king was so moved that on the opening chorus, he immediately stood up before his feet. Or maybe was he asleep and the thunderous music just woke him up and he had no choice but to stand up and like, oh, what was that? But regardless of what the reason was, it has actually become tradition to this day that whenever that opening chorus for Hallelujah begins, the audience, the congregation must stand on their feet, simply because of what that king did 275 years ago. Whether he was sleeping, whether he was moved, it is current tradition. Have a listen to the Hallelujah chorus.